being stubborn, maybe.
All right. Welcome to December's Philly MacAdmins meeting. This is our last meeting for the year, and you know, we hope it's going to be a good one. We'd like to thank Apple for hosting us this year, all these times, and also said thanks to Jamp for sponsoring us for a number of our meetings, as well as all the different locations that we've visited this year. So thanks, and we look forward to seeing you all in the next year. And with that, I guess we'll just go right into what's new. So, and first up, we will talk about iOS and tvOS and watchOS updates or lack thereof, macOS Sierra updates, the Skype backdoor, on Office updates as we do every month, and the Jamp Pro server updates. First up, iOS. So 10.2 was released. There's a bunch of new features, specifically new emojis, including the Aladdin Sane emojis, both male and female version, that I'm sure everyone's really excited about, as well as the new TV app that replaces the videos app, and that's one of the big things up there. But that 30% battery bug that affected the iPhone 6s, that is not fixed in this update. And there's a whole lot of patches in this update. 64 different CVEs affecting 29 different processes. So this is a major security update, so it behooves you to install this sooner rather than later. Okay, tvOS and watchOS. So tvOS 10.1 was released. Lots of bug fixes and improvements. Obviously, the new TV app, which is designed primarily for tvOS, that they've been talking about. And again, lots of CVEs addressed and processes patched. And watchOS, their release was out for like maybe a couple of days before they pulled it because it was breaking some people's watches. So it's currently has not returned yet. So, and there's no ETA of when that's going to happen. But I think the 3.13 beta is currently in testing. So who knows? Maybe they'll just skip 3.11 and go right to 3.13. Okay. Sierra had an update. 10.12.2 was released last week. So this will be a unified release. So it will boot all the hardware, including the new 2016 MacBook Pros with Touch Bar. There was a 10.12.1 that worked, but you had to get the right build for it. So not everybody got the build, so there may have been some forking going on. So, but the 10.12.2 version fixes all that, so we're back to normal. Lots of processes and lots of CVEs on this one. It's a big security update as well. Not all of these CVEs are patched on El Capitan or Yosemite. So if you're concerned about security, you may want to bump up your people sooner rather than later, if that's at all feasible. It is, but this update doesn't close and the iCloud bug. If you're not aware, there's a bug with iCloud that will send lockout attempts to AD-bound accounts, mobile accounts. So if you do anything in iCloud, it tends to lock you out. So, or if you updated or upgraded to Sierra, you usually come back to the machine being locked out if you use AD mobile accounts. So this bug is not fixed in 10.12.2. So rumor has it might be in the next update. And There are some security updates, but again, not all of them are for El Capitan or Yosemite. But there are some of these make them over. I think the big one, which I don't think I mentioned here, is this fixes the one for Sierra, and I don't think it's been confirmed that it fixes in El Capitan or Yosemite, but there is a fix, an EFI fix for the poison tap last month. So it's definitely in the Sierra build. Not sure yet if it's in El Capitan or Yosemite. So that may be another, if you're worried about that, that might be another reason to go right to Sierra. And also, Safari was updated. The Skype backdoor. Yeah, so Microsoft patched a backdoor in Skype, allows an attacker to log and record Skype call audio, retrieve user contact information, read the contents of incoming messages, etc., etc. It's a pretty massive exploit, and it predates Microsoft's acquisition of Skype. So this is like a 5-year-old bug that they've just discovered. So, but Microsoft has already patched it. Skype for Business is not affected at all because they do not share code between the consumer version of Skype and Skype for Business. So if you only use Skype for Business, you're not affected by this at all. There's details for more information if you want when you get the slides. And Office 2016, we're now at 1529. With all the usual bug fixes and security patches, new features for those of you who get the new features. Also, 2011 is patched, and Skype for Business is now at 16.2. There was an update that they released just yesterday, 156. So most of the features they said that would be in there by this time are in there. Haven't verified that the screen sharing is in there yet. But if it's not, hopefully it will be in the first quarter update of Skype when that comes out next year.
Yes,
yeah.
1529 came out for some of the apps afterwards too.
For what?
For some of the apps, at least Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, maybe Outlook.
Oh, for another point update for 1529?
It was a couple days after.
Oh, okay. So, but still, 1529 is the major release.
OneNote didn't get patched.
Okay, and Jamf Pro. So this was released also last week, 9.9.7, as we increment ever closer to version 10. And it closed. This was a large security update and patch update. There was lots of issues that were closed in this update. However, they pulled the update yesterday because of an issue that the file vault status was incorrectly reporting and was causing some issues, and would throw errors if a file vault encrypted machine tried to re-enroll. So they pulled the update pretty much like last night, today, this morning. And at this moment, there's no ETA when that's happened. So if you haven't, or were planning on upgrading to 9.9.7 in the near future, you can enjoy your Christmas break a little more. And that's all I have for the moment, except for we did want to mention it was a little late getting this information before I was making the slides. So, but Nomad has been, version 1.0 is officially released today. So Nomad is kind of like AD Passmon on steroids with a bit of Enterprise Connect thrown in as well. So yeah, this pretty much is going to probably be the replacement for people who are using AD Passmon and can't afford or don't have the clout to get Enterprise Connect. And it'll do a lot of the same things. So and it's open source, so there's not being a lot of investment. There are the communities that's involved in Nomad is really into it, so the documentation is good. And Joel Renich actually was on announcing it on the University of Minnesota admin podcast earlier today, talking about it. So, but Nomad also has a channel in Slack. That's where all the information is. So if you are using AD Passmon, I know Ben doesn't really have time to, and nor is he in the AD environment to do further development. So he's basically been pointing people to Nomad. And so you should probably look into it as well. And with that, we'll just go to our open discussion. It's all AirPlay and it's a new wireless era. So yes.
Now you can get rid of all the ports on your computer.
Yeah.
I think that's the idea.
Yeah, they already did it.
So.
It's a little nippy in here.
Temperature control is always kind of iffy around here.
Yeah.
But, you know. So, what we're probably going to be doing a couple times next year, and probably going to wait until the weather gets a little bit better, but try to do some more casual meetup every month or a couple of months or so, where we get together, not necessarily here, but somewhere that's more conducive to socializing. That's one of the things we have planned next year. There may be some other things in the works. And when we know more about that, we'll let everybody know. So, but yeah, thanks for coming out. We'll also try to get more speakers next year. I know that's been a bit of an issue, and we'll try to get some stuff. Basically, if we don't have, I think what we're going to do going forward is if we don't have a speaker, we'll try to do a social event instead, as opposed to trying to keep doing that. Maybe rent out a place or a corner of a restaurant or something, bring a projector and do our things there, and then maybe enjoy like a real meal with a few drinks.
Just a few.
Just a few. And yeah, and that's what we're planning. So hopefully more of you guys can make it out next year once we get a little bit organized and try to get all that together. Because I'm enjoying these meetings. I know most of you are. And more of you out to come so you can enjoy it as well. So, but yeah, since our last meeting of this year, thank you for 2016 for coming out for all the meetings, and see you next year.
Well, thanks for bringing us together.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything they want to discuss?
Anybody have any good recommendations on study guides for Net Plus?
Study guides for Net Plus.
Free?
Or
Yeah.
I mean, a book's fine. I don't mind buying a book. There's like a dozen of them.
What makes you want to do Net Plus over CCNA?
cost?
Cost, primarily. I need to get something. I need to shore up a lot of my network knowledge quick.
Okay.
And if I try to do it on my own, it ain't going to happen at all.
There's a lot of study guides online. There's a brain dump website that it's for those exams.
Okay.
So if you already know the stuff,
That's my problem. Is I know I'm missing stuff, but I don't know what I'm missing.
right? The brain dump stuff might be. Are you looking just to pass, or are you looking to?
I'm looking to actually learn all the stuff that I haven't either self-taught or learned on the job.
Okay.
Basically, fill in those gaps in the foundational knowledge.
So probably what I would suggest is to look at the brain dump so you have an idea of what is on the test.
Okay.
I'm not sure the name of that website, but I used it for my A+.
Network Plus party?
Braindumps.com, duh.
That's an easy one.
Yeah, braindumps.com, they dump a lot of the certification tests. They, Yeah, braindumps.com. It's great if you're trying to just pass the exam. You can use that as a Bible. But if you're trying to further your knowledge, kind of gives you an idea of what is on the exam, and then you can kind of correlate that with anything that you're actually researching.
Cool.
I don't think I have a Net Plus book, but I have like a CCNA book if you are wanting to go further.
I may. Depends on.
Well, yeah, I have the first CCNA book. There's two, and they're like all like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have the newest one.
Yeah, it may come to that. Depends on what my employer's requirements come to be, but I need to get something
Right.
to shore up the basics and to show that I can do it sooner rather than later.
Penn State MacAdmins just put out a call for proposals. So if you're thinking about going and want to speak, now it's time to start thinking about what you want to talk about. What would you like to talk about?
Did you want to do our splash our depth thing over there?
If we have something to talk about.
Attendance is free if your talk gets accepted.
Yeah.
That's enough. You kind of just have to, well, as you know, you have to fill a greater block of time. And somebody was talking about in the Monkey Report channel about like, hey, we should do a talk on Monkey Report. And Graham Gover was like, I could talk about reporting. Was it an hour?
Yeah, we're starting to roll out. Well, we're starting to get things in order for depth. I've been working with
Francois. Francois Tiff.
Yeah.
F-Tiff on the slides.
Yeah, I've been working with him improving the Casper splash screen. We use the asset tag for our computers. So he actually didn't have no one actually had a Swift helper, which is the Apple approved way of running stuff as root.
Mhm.
So with the help of Eric, I developed a helper and included it in the.
Is that Eric Bergman?
Yeah. I worked with Francois. F-Tiff, there we go.
F-Tiff.
I worked with him and included a little dialogue that slides down and says, hey, enter your asset tag. And hits enter, burns it to NVRAM, and updates the JSS. So if anyone's interested in depth, we're actively working on it.
Right. We may talk about that in the future.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep. But yeah, that's stuff we're working on.
We were talking about that, but because we're not really relying on any MDM at the moment, it's a little hard to do that.
I just found out my third-party vendor at our school may not be fully understanding how depth works. We had an iPad, right? Grabbed the serial number, tried to put it in our MDM, and DEP didn't recognize it. I asked him, what's going on? He's like, oh, you want that one in DEP? And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, aren't they in DEP by default? He's like, no, I got to enter each one in manually. Really? That's not how Apple does it.
Depends on how you get it.
Yeah.
Because like my iPhone, I had to get the iPhone replaced. Now that phone that Apple gave me is not in depth. It's enrolled in AirWatch, but it's not in depth.
Mhm.
So I can format my phone and use it as a personal phone if I really wanted to. The problem with that part is if I wanted to get it in depth, I actually have to order it to have it in depth, which takes an additional week or so.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's going to be a way to fix that. I've been told.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big complaints that they've heard, and so I think that's something they're going to be addressing shortly.
Yep.
So, yeah, typically your vendor is supposed to enroll them into depth Whoever your vendor is, like, you should not be enrolling anything into debt because the debt portal is horrible.
Yeah, so we have, what's that?
We switched to Apple School Manager at this point because the debt portal is still the debt portal for businesses. But if you're a school, you can use Apple School Manager where they combine your debt and your PPP into under one sort of website. We order everything directly from Apple, so it's eligible for debt. We don't actually enroll them all. To know that we can.
Right.
Yeah,
But I
and,
mean,
at least for one of our vendors, they told us that they can retroactively enroll machines in debt if we need them to.
Yep.
yeah,
They should be
Apple-
able to.
The vendor will
Vendor.
enroll the machines that we bought from
Yeah.
the vendor
Oh,
because they're an approved vendor for debt, so they can access the debt portal and plug in those through.
see, there's a couple steps here. I mean, our DEP for our university, there's 9 or 10 different MVMs attached to it. So we only can have one.
Yeah, because
You know,
you can
you
only
can
have
manager.
one. Yeah, you can only have one default. MVM.
Right. Well,
We
there's
have-
no default.
Yeah, we have
I think not.
there's 2 AirWatch ones, one production, one staging, and there's my staging JSS, my production JSS. There it is.
I mean, with Apple, you buy from Apple, and it's in the DEP system automatically.
Right.
Through this vendor, apparently I have to tell them each one.
Yeah, I mean, we get an email every time that the vendor adds things to debt. I get all the emails and stuff in the portal. So I know that they're doing it automatically. Maybe you need to change it.
I finally got my ACMT. It's fun. I still don't know how to order things.
Yeah, you get your ACMT, that's for life. Then you have to certify on all the new hardware.
That's still, like, is it still for life if you?
The ACMT is for life. But if the Apple comes out with a new model of something, you have to certify for that.
Yeah.
It's all done online for GSX, but you still have to certify
Yeah.
before they'll let you order the parts.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
It's all-
we
all
have
I
to have
want-
someone on our site that's up to par, which I think Steve still has to do all of the 2016 MacBook Pros
So
now.
Steve Walensky, yeah.
Yeah.
Do they charge you for each one? Or you just go through each one and do it? I just wanted to try to order a replacement MagSafe adapter. It was the worst thing. Trying to find it through their
Yeah, you know
drop
what?
downs.
I've been using GSX since they rolled it out, like way back in the early aughts.
What was it called before GSX? Apple Service Machine or something?
Yep.
Yeah. ASE.
ASE.
Yeah.
That was like a HyperCard app or something.
It
And it took forever to do anything. I remember having to fill in for you and place orders, and it was like 2 hours for like a dozen orders.
At that time, yeah, because it was pain.
Well, you parked early.
It was a whole lot.
Parked early.
Yeah,
I
but
remember
I did
when-
like 12 or 1.
So it's like 1:45 cut off the notes.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, dude, I just got it done. Like, that's tomorrow.
We just take our stuff to the Apple Store at this point.
Well, there were no Apple stores back then.
Yep.
It was a wild, freezing world.
Yeah, and no App stores.
The internet was new.
It was all Apple resellers. And the internet was slow for everybody.
We were on
It's
DSL.
ba- I was gonna say, it's back when dial-up was popular.
We were on GSL. Yeah.
Yeah, we had DSL at that point.
Yeah.
I don't think we still were using MP3 player for music. And it played 5, 6 songs all the time. Out of 100 that was there.
Yeah, that was before iTunes too.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
SoundJam Plus.
Still prefer Audion.
Yeah, everybody did.
Audion was an early competitor to Apple bought SoundJam Plus, and it became iTunes. Its direct competitor was a program called Audion, which was from Panic, software which is still around.
For Mac.
So there was MacAmp, and then there was Winamp for Mac.
And they said that you could have a skin. They had 2 skins. I'm like, I want a different one.
Yeah, they kept promising to make the Windows skins work on the Mac version. It never happened.
Oh, what did I say?
And then iTunes came
Things we're
around
concerned
and
about.
took over all of that.
Yeah.
iTunes used to work with the Rio. I'll stick it up my iTunes. It's gonna be amazing. That's 32 megabytes of songs.
Did you guys ever read the
Almost
Audion
32
story?
megabytes was back then.
Audion was the SoundJam competitor, and they
Yeah.
supported translucent skins,
Right.
and transparent skins.
Yep.
And it was made by Panic.
Yeah.
And they posted their sort of behind-the-scenes story when they ended up having to retire the product about how Apple had approached them first before SoundJam, and they were already in talks with AOL. So they were like, we're going to be respectful to AOL and let those talks finish before we'll talk to Apple. And then Apple just went right to SoundJam instead. And they were talking about what could have been. They could have been, Panic could have been owned by Apple. And thing.
Whatever happened.
It's a really cool story.
Yeah.
It is?
AOL didn't end up buying it anyway. They sort of just left them hanging.
Yeah, I think that's.
Audion was a vastly superior product anyway.
I like it. I mean, it's Panic.
Yeah.
Panic's great.
This is true. I still use
It's like Cassidy still. Yeah, you know how many cassette tapes I have that I've never digitalized?
We still deployed Audacity.
yeah. But I use Prompt.
Yeah,
Panic.
Prompt is great. Transmit's great. I don't know why I'm excited for a new version of their FTP client. It's just really well made.
I use FTP clients so infrequently.
I do SFTP at this point. It's easier
Well,
because I can.
We block FTP at the firewall, so we can't do FTP out.
You can FTP in all you want, and I still see telnet traffic going across the wire.
But yeah, can't FTP out. So
Or telnet now. Or it's a safe
I don't
out.
think you can do SFTP. I think they block that. I think the security just does not want you to use FTP.
Well, SFTP goes over SSH.
It doesn't.
Yeah, there's FTP. FTPS is the secure version of FTP. SFTP is the controllable.
Yeah, we block outgoing and incoming SSH unless if you're through VPN.
That makes sense.
Yep. It's not like we're a major national company that's targeted that's a tempting target for malcreants.
Do you have anything against Comcast?
No, never.
A company that large could never have enemies. Yeah.
I think you can kill it.
Yeah, I think so. All right, folks, shutting it down.
Anybody still have a Yahoo account?